Hi everyone, welcome to the Hub United. Again, we're back again just for a quick one, a quick news. With where my camera's a bit off here. Let me just check that. I think I am. No, I'm not good yet. I am good now. Okay, not now. Just a good. Yeah. So we just had there's been news regarding the sale of United. Just want to go through a quick discussion between myself, Toyo, as well as um, as well as Eric. Okay, so I have Toyo and I have Eric. Briefly, we'll go just again, just your thought on the current news. I can quickly go through what's happening. It seems like Sir Jim Ratcliffe is the preferred bidder for United, and most likely the club will be sold to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Toya, what's your take on that?
It's I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know how they end up picking Sir Jim. I think if they are picking Sir Jim for the next owner of Man United, that will be a selfish decision on the part of the Glazers, and I think Man U fans shouldn't stand for that. Right? So the whole process should be made transparent, so we know what are the criteria that Sir Jim is being picked for.
I th-
But I think for
so go ahead.
okay, I think when we're reading the news, we didn't really see a compact proposal from Sir Jim, but we heard about the one from Sheikh,
Yeah.
right? And he proposed after the buying of the club, he proposed a substantial amount of
Investment.
investment in the club's development, both football wise and otherwise, right? And and that is what the fans has been craving for. So I don't know why Sir Jim.
If again, just to let you know, again, and Eric probably knows more. He's our social media expert. Probably knows more. But from what I gather so far, it's and let me just turn down my FIFA. Okay, so I'm back. So from what I gather so far, the reason why Sir Jim has been picked over um, over Sheikh Yassim has more to do with more to do with the Sir Jim over valuing the club more than Sheikh, right? So meaning is giving 3 billion for 50%, which I believe Sheikh, yeah, Yassim's bid for the total club just roughly is it below or just above 5 billion, meaning Sajim values the club at around 6 billion if he's paying 3 billion for your 3%. And I think the key thing here is that the Glazers don't care what the fans think. Mostly, when we say Glazers, well, let's take out the rest. We just have two. Is it Joel and Avram? Those are the two. They're the main people that basically that want to still be a part of United. So they didn't want to go. That's why I believe Ratcliffe had to make that offer. Your thoughts, Eric?
See, I don't have a problem, right, with whoever takes the club, be it Sajim or be it Sheikh Yassim. I don't have a problem. And I think most Manchester United fans that would say we feel Qatari is because of what's happening at the moment. When the Glazers said they put up the club for sale back at the back end or in November, I can't remember when,
Remember?
but when they put up the club for sale, we're all happy, right? We always had Sajim at the back of our hand, like in the tip of our finger, saying, "Okay, we want him to somebody." Because I remember last season when what's his name, I can't remember the guy's name. I might be pronouncing wrong. Nightingale or Mark Nightingale, that guy that came
Okay,
out and said,
yeah, that
yeah,
wants to
if
partner with
yeah, that want to form a consortium,
yeah.
all he just wants is if Sajim just steps in, then makes his job easy, right? We all said, oh, Sajim, can you please Sajim in buy Manchester United buy? That's the problem with the Ineos or the Qatari group. There's no problem with either of them for me, in my opinion. The bottom line is Sajim he has a fixed budget he want to put into, like he want to use in buying this club, right? Which is about, I would put it, quote unquote, stand to be corrected, around 4 billion, right? Now, he knows that if he goes toe to toe with this guy, with the Qatari or with Sheikh Yassim, he's not going to win. He's not going to make it. Now, he had to do something corny. That's, to me, that's spitting in the face or faces of Manchester United fans. By going back to say, okay, you know what, I don't have the whole money, but I value this club at the price that you guys are calling it for, right? But I don't have the whole money. How about I give you 3 billion, which is, to me, is just a figure that is being put out there in the social media space. I don't believe that figure to be true, right? Or whatever figures that have been put out there is just a makeup. It's just a speculation because nothing has been tentative. Nothing has been certain in terms of the news, because all parties signed an NDA. Yeah. So I'm just saying, okay, for the purpose of this discussion, he puts in a 3 billion and say, I have pay. You want to pay 4.2 billion, or what was it that was aired for 69%? Now you say you're going to give them 3 billion for 50%. So you are saying that you value the other 19% is about 1 point something billion. It doesn't work that way.
So again,
right? It doesn't work that way. It does. So in my own sense, whatever he wants to do with his money, he could do it. But don't be the one that is going to keep the Glazers in the club. The fans want the Glazers out. We don't want to see any. To tell you how bad it is, some fans are saying they will go as far as getting relegated to see the Glazers get out of the club.
So I'm again, right? I think everyone has a right to what they call to be angry, right?
No, it's not about anger, right? For me, it's not about anger. It's about you say you're a Manchester United fan. Now, from a business point of view, you are doing what suits you. Imagine you and I, we are Manchester United fans, right? 6 billion, or we have this wealth to buy the club. We've all been, we just the way you and I are now, right? We want this club. And we get in there and say, okay, you know what? When we've all been in our own way, shape and form, trying to protesting to get these guys, to kick these guys out. Then I now go in there and say, because I want to get the club at all means. It's like the desperation now to get the club is what's even making everything worse. Why are you so? If you say you have the money, people are saying that this guy is rich. I'm not disputing that fact. If you have the money, why don't you just buy the club outright? My question is, why keep the Glazers in now? And you're not spilling stories to us, or not doing a PRO spin and telling us, oh, in 3 years' time you're gonna kick them out. You're gonna buy them out. It doesn't make sense. To me, I don't believe that clause of 3 years' time. I believe Glazers are here for the next 10 years till Sir Jimmy decide to sell the club, or till Sir Jimmy God calls Sir Jimmy home. Even if he lives up to 100. The Glazers are going to be here. I don't believe he's going to buy out the Glazers in the next 3 years. That's just.
I think what's going on here, right, is, sorry to cut you off. I'll just quickly say this. The owners, right? So again, the owners were only going to sell Mayu for anything above 6 billion. Anything above 6 billion, were only reason the owners were going to sell Mayu, honestly. And let me just finish this. And Sir Jim, again, it's my own thought process now. It might be wrong. Thinking, okay, you know what? These guys they are not going to budge. They are either going to stay and collect what they call it investment. 2 billion investment. They will take those investment and they will stay. So I think the only option I feel for Sir Jim, probably after having conversations with, because you understand if someone will sell something, right? Like you say, okay, that's this guy, you don't want to sell him. But the way the guy talks to, this guy, if you knock everybody, go collect investment. Now, how do I get in? It's either was saying that, okay, if that's the case, are we saying Sir James should just, okay, lock up and allow these guys to take investment from outside?
Do you see? Go
the
ahead.
question we should be asking ourselves is Sir Jim the right man to
No,
take over the ownership
again, we are not.
Do you know why I asked that question? Because he being a fan is subjective, right? Because we heard last time that he was a fan of Chelsea too. So maybe he's a fan of any club that he wants to buy.
No, I think it's.
And right now he's being creative as a businessman, right? Irrespective. Mine is okay, you're taking over 50% of the club for this amount. Not a bad thing. You said you have a plan to later acquire the whole of the club from the Glazers, right? So where do you want to get the money to acquire the whole of the club from the Glazers? Why don't you just be creative, try to source for funds and acquire the whole of the club and try paying those things back?
I think the question is that the Glazers, and I think we can do this in 15 minutes. We'll probably cut and continue tomorrow. The Glazers, right? You don't want to leave, and that's my take. So hear this out. The Glazers are already fighting with the Premier League, right? A 6-year contract that's still up is up in 6 years. The TV right contract. They're trying to work with the Premier League, so because you know how in Premier League, right, it's shared across everyone. So basically, but they want to do like a weighted whereby what we get more viewing, which Mayu does, and we get more money. That's a 6-year deal. So it's 6 years out. They are fighting the Premier League for that thing 6 years in the future. Then they have no plan to leave. They never had a plan to leave. They were looking for basically investment.
So that's the thing. So I don't think they're looking for. This is the thing. I don't believe that they're looking for investment, because if they wanted investment, they would have gotten the investment long time. Mm-hmm. I believe they tried the investment route, but it wasn't fruitful. It wasn't futile. It wasn't
forthcoming,
viable, mm-hmm. Right? It wasn't a viable one, because you look at it. Mind you, there are 6 of them. 2 of them might be looking for investment in terms of their own percentage in shares wise, mm-hmm. Right? Now the other 4 might not be like, no, we want out and out. So the investment. So for me, in my opinion, the investment route wasn't a viable
because
they put the club out. Now they put the club out for sale, doing their own plus and minus, addition and subtraction, and say, okay, if we put the club at 6 billion, hoping to get a bidding war, people will come in at 5.8, 5.7, 6 billion, 6.1, 6.2, right? Yeah. At that point, we cannot sell.
Yeah.
But now, the club is not the value of the club. They put too much on the value of the club. Sir Jim even giving them 3 billion for a 50%, right? And keeping them on.
It's ridiculous. It's paying.
It's ridiculous.
1 billion above.
In the sense that, yes, in the sense that, at the end of the day, you're going to buy them out. What if those guys say, okay, you know what, you want to buy us out now? It's the club is not looking stable. You want to buy us out? Okay. Can you just give us another 3 billion, 1.5 billion?
That would be, honestly, that's the case. That's why that's where Sahim.
And if he doesn't, I won't be surprised, bros, guys. I won't be surprised if the Glazers come out with 4 billion, give it to him for him to get out.
But they can't. But he is the main man, right? So he has the power. Except
Escort, there's always a clause. There's always a clause in this contract that would
the Class B shares now, which. I think what we're not getting clear yet, the Glazers don't have 20%. I don't know if you guys I watched Mark Gobridge. I'm not sure how true this is. In his stream today, he mentioned 25%.
Yeah, they have 25%.
Yeah, so 25%, and now these are Class B shares, which times 2 gives you what they call, which times 10 gives you almost a 50% mm-hmm. what they call voting right.
So that's what I'm saying. So I don't understand the desperacy from and I don't know, I'm not a business person, right? But I'm just looking at it from my own point of view, right? You're buying something for 3 billion and saying that in the next 3 years you're going to kick them, you're going to buy them out,
They're
right?
not going out.
How is that?
No, so no.
How is
The truth
that?
is that
How is that? Because now the club is at this stage where the juice is out. Right now, imagine if, let's say he becomes successful with the club in the next 2 years. He does all the right things, and the club is now moving in the right direction. We're in the Champions League. We're actually going as far as getting to the final, and maybe in the next 3 4 years we win we win a Champions League trophy, we win a Premier League, and maybe we win an FA Cup or a couple of FA Cups and Premier League, right? Now the juice is back. The link cow is now looking more robust. Do you think that the Glazers will want to step
No,
up?
that's what I'm saying. That is just a statement to please the fans. Honestly, when I look at it, I just blow past it. That doesn't make sense. Let's wrap this up. I know you have church. I have church. Off air. What's your final take? We'll continue this discussion tomorrow. What's your final take here? What's your thought? I know it's a lot happening. Probably I'll give everyone time to digest and have more context tomorrow. What's your final thoughts, off air?
Basically, I think Sir Jim is just is a businessman.
Yes,
We shouldn't see him as he is in the side of Manchester United. He thinks long term his own pocket.
I agree.
That's my final thought.
I agree. I honestly agree with you. He's just a businessman. The way he has gone about this deal.
For me, I don't, like I said, I don't mind either him or the Qatari or Sheikh Yazim, or if anybody decide to jump on it now, right now. The fact that he's offering to keep the Glazers in the club, that's the one. That's the one that's the one that makes me want to puke. Like, yo, we just had a protest the other day. So all of that just feels like it's just it's just waste of energy, waste of the people are just crying out to deaf ears. You said you are a Manchester United fan. You want to bring the Manchester back.
That's to me.
Manchester back into the Manchester United, right?
I'm not even sure what that means.
No, from my own understanding, you want to bring back the Manchester. You want to bring Manchester back into Manchester, meaning that you want to bring the fans, you want to bring that love, that heritage, that history, that culture back. Bet you're going to go to bed with the Glazers to do that.
I think let's leave that at that. That's the final ending piece. We'll continue tomorrow during the match. I'm not sure if you guys want to watch along. If you guys have time, we could probably do watch along and then continue with this discussion tomorrow. And again, thank you, Affair. Thank you, Rex, for coming on. Go to church, please pray for us, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right.